So Miss Avisham's asked me to do Fargate because it's nearly complete. So it's gone up from 17 million to 34 million, and that was last year, so I don't know what the current costs are. At the moment there's about 40 guys working on it, but the pictures I've seen, there seems to be more guys watching each other work than actually doing the work. So just before Christmas they said 90% complete, and there's supposed to be an end date of March now. So the top end, you can see all these metal posts in. Now I was on Oxford Street in London, you still got cars, taxis and buses running along Oxford Street. I prefer it like that, it feels more alive. Let's have a walk down. So I'm stood on what was once a big fountain, Goodwin Fountains, and the roads used to go around the Goodwin Fountain, and the problem is with that, they didn't actually maintain it, and that's what happens with Sheffield Council. They've got no plan to maintain, and you can see the grey to green here. How much is this is going to be weeds, because we don't really have a department in the council. So after 5 years, what's it going to look like? So just on this corner is going to be the Fargate pub of kinds. Let's have a walk down and you can see what's going off. This top bit still looks like there's a building site here. It don't look any more complete really. But I can't resist calling this Tiananmen Square, and I think this is where the events will probably be. And I'm expecting a big screen up here with one of those faces like George Orwell on it, where they all used to look at the screen. So I'm actually on the cycle lane at the moment. So cycle lane and grey to green really narrows footfall down. So if you're having an event, you can't have it on any of this bit. So the event's got to be at the top on Tiananmen Square, hasn't it really? So just here we've got these modern chairs. Now we're supposed to be all devolved areas, but everybody seems to do the same. It's as though they say they're devolved, but everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet. That doesn't sound like devolved to me, where they're all talking from the same hymn sheet, because the problem is the World Economic Forum's actually running the UK and not our government. So just across here was Next. They were renovating it, then they had to knock it down and rebuild it, and then the developer or whatever went bust. So how long's that going to be like that? So WH Smith could be a casualty in the future, might get wiped out after, I think it's 230 years. Well, it says 1792. So how long it'll last, I don't know. I've never really noticed the 1792 before. But you can see more of the grey to green, which I think may become weed. But the idea of it is to keep the water here and stop it flooding the rest of Sheffield. But whether that works in practice is another thing. But I think it's also to encourage people to live in the city. But my concern is that the 1960s flats, there was a lot more green space around them, and it gave people mental health issues. So my concern is there's far more flats with far less green than back in the 1950s. So I see big issues coming along in the future. So outside Santander, I think their cable got cut and they went down because of the work going ahead round here. But it really is comedy in Sheffield. I mean, remember the actual Italian cobbling, I think that was done over a summer. And very little disruption to businesses. People can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Was I looking through rose-tinted sunglasses when the Italians just did it over one summer? And this has been going on 2-3 years. So we've got Marks and Spencer's here, and I don't want to see us lose Marks and Spencer's, but it's probably better to move it in the Debenhams building to at least keep them in Sheffield, because there's going to be nothing left down here. I think Miss Avisham mentioned a few things like Pound Stretcher, I think it was. She mentioned WH Smith. She mentioned something else as well, but she also mentioned this. This is going to be an events control area or central. So they're going to finish Fargate and then they can start building work on this. So what's that going to cause? but it still looks way incomplete. I mean, you've seen the sheaf area, the Sheffield, where they're uncovering it. I reckon it could have been done in 2 weeks, and they've been going on it for months, and it still looks nowhere near like complete. And you can see down here, we've still got tarmac down here, still got to be done. But you can judge for yourself. This was 90% complete before Christmas. There's supposed to be a deadline. I don't think there's penalties on it if it's not done by sometime in March. The Sheffield Council is the council that just keeps on giving. I'd love to know who's got all the contracts around the country for those particular brand of seats. So we've got Chapel Walk being worked on at the moment. Really could do with that sign up there. Outsiders need to know about it, people who don't come from Sheffield. There's a sign on the other end that will really mark it up. So we're nearly at High Street, but if you look at the old pictures of Sheffield, like at Christmas on Fargate when it wasn't pedestrianised, it just looked so classy, like Oxford Street in London. You can see all these steel posts. They're all for our safety, aren't they, folks? That's all I shall say. They're all for our safety, but it's my government I don't particularly trust. I think we've always been made to fear the bogeyman because it's all about control. Just here was the wonderful Coles building, knocked down in 1964. Cost £1 million at that particular time to buy it, and then I think they couldn't get 850,000 for the Debenham site. So it just shows you how real estate's fallen in Sheffield. If 1964 this was 1 million and the Debenham's building now we're only 850,000 and they couldn't sell it for that. Somebody made an offer in the end before it went to auction, so we'll see how things go in the future, but I don't see a level of confidence coming back because I certainly wouldn't want to set up a business in Sheffield. So if you can like the video, follow the channel and click on notifications for new videos in the future, I'd appreciate that. But it was lovely bumping into somebody who's subscribed to my channel, and I think they get more of a feeling from me. It's not as black and white as what I say. Sometimes it's easier to do a video than write it down, but sometimes you still don't get that feeling out. So it's lovely speaking to some people. So that's it, over and out from Fargate in Sheffield.